Tom Brady announces his retirement, Ike. Is it for good, though?
Yeah, he came out with it first. I think the first he came out with it first on the second run. I think on the first one it was kind of leaked like he was thinking about retiring, and somebody said Tom Brady's going to retire,
Mm-hmm.
and Tom Brady was like, "Man, whoever's in my on my team or in my circle, they got to go." Because Tom Brady is supposed to be saying this, not nobody else. So I now since Tom Brady came out the second time and said it first, I think Tom was like on the first time, F it, I'm coming back just to give it one more shot. So Tom, came out on social media and said it himself that he's retiring. He ain't coming back. Tom ain't coming back. Tom feels like he did everything he needed to do. He gave it one last shot, came up short. Been playing for a long time. I mean, a man 45 years old at a high level. So, I don't call Tom the GOAT. I call Tom the statue. Tom just sits on Mount Rushmore all the way at the top, and everybody else just kind of falls underneath him. To have 7 Super Bowl rings, to go to 10, to do what Tom has done, to pass for over 100,000 yards between regular and playoffs, to have the most fourth quarter drives, to have the most clutch drives, to have the most touchdowns, like just to be able to play at 45 at a high level. Obviously, Father Time did catch up with him. You ain't gonna beat Father Time. That's just what it is, and you saw that a little bit throughout this season. But I'm just super impressed on how good of a teammate Tom is. Anybody who talks about Tom, who once was his teammate, they have nothing but good things to say. I mean, Tom always has been one of the guys. And usually quarterbacks, they're not one of the guys because they got to walk, talk, and act a certain way because they're the CEO, they're the face of the franchise. But Tom always been one of the guys. So when you got a 6th-round draft pick, always play with that chip on his shoulder, embrace the 53rd guy on the roster, always wanted the 53rd guy on the roster to be next to him in the locker room because them two have something to relate upon. That says a lot about Tom, and for Tom to leave New England, all the accomplishments he had in New England, and wind up going to Tampa during COVID, like the beginning of COVID when they was kicking him off of high school or recreational parks because he wanted to get some work in with his guys, and to be able to come off a couple of months and win the Super Bowl, that said it all for me. That just verified on how we thought as a player. Like, yeah, they had some good coaches in New England, and I'm not knocking Belichick or any other coach in New England, but we all felt like it was just Tom. Like Tom made everything go. And then when Tom left New England and come through during the COVID year, just a couple of months, down there, a couple of weeks, started off kind of slow, but you knew he was gonna figure it out, wind up winning the Super Bowl. You're like, oh yeah, I told y'all it was Tom. So Tom just been very impressive over the course of his career. But the most impressive thing for me is everybody who's been around Tom said he's a hell of a teammate and he always been one of the boys.
There's a great book called A Season in the Sun documenting the Buccaneers Super Bowl run written by Lars Anderson that talks about everything Brady needed to do working virtually with Bruce Arians, with Byron Leftwich, with his teammates, and the coordination that took during COVID. So I don't think that can be hit home hard enough because it was a different world when all that was going on. It was a very different offseason, unlike any we've ever seen due to the pandemic. You bring up a couple of other great points. A year ago when all this was going on, when the initial retirement was released, I was in the newsroom that day, and it initially got released through Tom Brady's TB12 Twitter account for his like hygiene, not hygiene, but for like his like athletic supplements and everything that he does with, the avocado ice cream, but, the fitness routine, and then what he eats and what he consumes. I remember when the announcement came out, they had leaked out a tweet that then subsequently got deleted, and then Brady came out with it. And then I remember too, when he decided to come back several weeks later, it was on Selection Sunday, and they've got the selection show on CBS, Ike. And then you get into the bracketology where you get in the analysis of the men's bracket on ESPN. And I remember Adam Schefter coming on saying now Tom Brady is coming out of retirement. And it's like, wait a second. I'm here to listen to basketball analysis of who I need to pick in the first, second rounds, who's making my Sweet 16. And Adam Schefter's coming on. It just about broke my brain, Ike, when Tom Brady decided to come out of retirement. If he does that again, to me, it will remind me a lot of the Brett Favre saga. And I remember they had the choppers going outside of Brett Favre's house at the facility, both in New York and in Minnesota, where you're in the dog days of summer, you're in June. Really, there's only baseball going on in the sports world, and it was must-watch television. I hope if Brady does decide this is it, that he is definite and this is his final decision. Ultimately, whatever he decides, like, we're going to watch because it's going to be must-watch TV.
No, Tom is here. Tom.
So you don't think? Hang on, Ike. You don't think if there's a contender midway through next season that has an injury at the quarterback position to say, "Hey, Tom, we could use your help and your services," that he would want to do it?
Nah, because you're going to be on TV. I mean, a man just did a 10 for 375 million. 10 years, 375 million. So, yeah, he ain't really tripping. He can do whatever he want to do. He can still be in the game but not be in the game. That's what Tom at. But the fact that Tom came out with it first says a lot. You know, that says on the first go around, Tom, like, man, whoever was in his camp, like, man, y'all tripping. I got to fire you. But Tom came out with it first, and he specifically said to himself that he gone. He started off with, man, I'm retiring. So Tom ain't coming back, man. You know, Tom did everything he needed to do. Seven Super Bowls. So I got more Super Bowls than any other organization. That's what Tom walking around saying. That's what Tom said. Really, Tom is an organization. Like, have y'all been to Tom Brady? No, what's Tom Brady? Oh yeah, it's an organization with 7 Super Bowl rings. So that's how Tom walking around. That's how he talking. But the dude is very impressive, man. Tom ain't coming back. In my mind, I don't think Tom is coming back.
Yeah. And if he goes to the booth, though, I mean, Greg Olson's been outstanding for Fox. To me, that carousel in the broadcast booth, do you bring Brady in with Burkhart and Olson for Fox? Do we, like, because here's the thing. It is Tom Brady. Everyone knows who Tom Brady is.
Right.
But Olson throughout this playoffs, Ike, I have been so impressed because, like you, and you have this ability too, the way you're able to speak about the game, if you are very knowledgeable about football, you're teaching someone else something about football that they didn't know. But you're able to explain it in a way to someone who doesn't know the first thing about the sport to where it makes sense to them. That's rare, Ike.
Yeah, I appreciate you. It's a gift. It's a gift that I didn't know I had until really Troy, my teammate, told me this in coaching. He was like, bro, you're a real good coach. Like, he came down and saw me coach my son when my son was 10, a few games, him and Big Twan. And he was like, bro, I'm very impressed. He was like, bro, how you coach. Like, I couldn't see it in you, until I actually sat on the field and saw you do it. So, I mean, you just verifying what Troy said as well. But, you know, I don't know. It's a gift. It's a gift, Mark. I really can't explain it. The great teachers and professors, they can slim it down to where everybody can understand. A lot of people can't do that. And this from TV to our podcast to me talking and speaking in front of people. This just what it is, but it's a gift from God. That's how I look at it, Mark.